Costco member. Have you heard of Gas Buddy? That app? You can get an app, Gas Buddy. I use it all the time, and it gives you the people basically report gas prices all over the city, all over Canada. You can narrow it down to your location, and I look for the cheapest gas price. And so I saw on my way back yesterday, I'm like 185. Why didn't anybody tell me that? Turn on the radio, and sure enough, they're saying, yeah, gas is going up. And so I go on Gas Buddy. Costco was at 162. 162. You know what kind of savings we're talking about? Let's just do some simple math here, because it's significant. It was worth me calling my wife. I'll be late for supper, and I'll swing by. So if you go an F-150, I have a Ford F-150, completely empty, right? It would take 130 liters to fill that thing up. Yeah, so I can go for a long time. So 120 liters times, so let's say I went to Petro-Canada, what would that be? 120 times 185. $222. Right? That's how much I would have paid because I was almost empty, so 120. So let's say I go to Costco instead. It was 162.50 or something like that. So let's try that again. 120 times 1.625. That's 195. So what are my savings here? 27 bucks savings. Just by using Gas Buddy to tell me that that's the case. Because I can guarantee you this morning was probably different. And so you know what else I did? I have jerry cans. So I took 3 big jerry cans and filled them all up as well because I have a second car. So I take that, fill my second car at home, right? Everybody's cursing behind me, right? Because the lineup is crazy. So I'm just like going out, right? I start to fill, and I open it back, and they see 3 jerry cans, and then they're like, you can just see their faces. But anyways, lots of savings. So I did another 60 liters, I think. So 20 liters in each jerry can. So I saved another half of this, right? So that'd be what, 13.50? So over about 40 bucks savings, right? If you act on it. And so we're going to explore that a bit more. So go to page 40 here. Have a highlighter ready. Gas is just, you know why it's going up? Anybody listen to the news? No, actually, refineries in the States are having issues. 2 of them had to shut down. One, there was like an explosion, and the other one had to shut down due to maintenance. And so the gas goes up. And so you know what they do? They make us pay more. There's an agreement that says you have to pay more now because otherwise people from the States are going to come up and fill up here, and that's going to mess up the supply and demand, right? They don't want that to be messed with, right? So there's an agreement we pay because of various things all over the world. Russia versus Ukraine has that the war in there has absolutely something to do with it as well. But now in particular, apparently it has to do with that. Okay, can you write this down? I want you to have this on your study sheet. That's a fuel economy formula. Okay? So at the end of the day, when you do this work, your answer will be in like my truck uses in the city. Bless you. When you plug in the numbers and you do this, your answer will be like this. It'll be telling you how many liters you use per 100 kilometers. In Canada, that's how we measure it. Anybody know how we measure fuel economy in the States? Miles per gallon. Yeah, so they're always different than us, right? But we're better. Like, you know we're better, right? This is going to be on YouTube later. No, we love our American neighbors. Miles per gallon. So, but we're not going to deal with that. Okay, we're not going to convert or anything like that. We just stick with liters and kilometers. So thank goodness, right? Um, so this is a truck. What do you think a car will be? Just think about like just a little sedan, a Honda. Would it be more or less? Would this number be bigger or smaller? Smaller, right? Less liters for the same distance, okay? So I need you to understand that because I might trick you. Like, hey, which one is the better fuel economy? You have to pick the right one, okay? Uh, what am I going to say here? Fuel economy, number of liters required to travel. Basically, what you're finding is number of liters required to travel 100 kilometers. Higher fuel economy, higher cost. Smaller fuel economy, lower cost. So when you see this, you see it's telling you that you're traveling. Have you seen that sticker at the top right of your booklet here? You've seen that on new cars, haven't you, in the mall? It's been a while since I've been in the mall, but when they have those new cars, I see that sticker on the window. Okay, they actually have liters per 100 kilometers and they have miles per gallon. Okay, what do you think fuel economy, like what affects your fuel economy? This is important. You can control it. You have a bit of say, not much, but you do have significant amount of control on how much your car uses. Go slower. Don't go jackrabbiting. Like if I was your age, when I was your age, I would like stop signs like floor it to the next stop sign, then floor it to the next red light, and it's like why, right? So now what I do, like I scan 3 lights down the road, and when I see they're all turning red, I'm just slowly like rolling until it's green, right? And then you're gonna have this green wave, right? Where you can just go because the most fuel is consumed when you have to start from a stop. Did you know that? Airplanes use most of their fuel when they take off, just that little short minute or two. And once they're flying, once they're coasting, it's less because the engine is just running at the same speed and it's more efficient, right? That and so what else helps your fuel economy? What's that? The weight, yeah. The more you add to your car, the more it's going to consume. Speed you drive, 100 kilometers an hour. You know how you're tempted to speed on a highway? Some of you are driving. You know what I'm talking about. I'm speeding in the city too, Mr. Dirksen. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting a ticket. And you're saving maybe minutes. That's all you're saving. There's studies. Like if you know that you've seen the cars, right, that go right past you, right, and then you meet them at the next light, and then they do the same thing. You meet them at the next light. Say, hey, how's it going, right? So that is important. When you travel highway, use less than city, right? So look at this. Look at the sticker back up here. It's very hard to see, but can you see these two numbers here? These two, the 10.7 and the 7.5. You can't see it because it's blurry, but you have your booklet. Yeah. What does it say next to the 10.7? City is 10.7 and highway 7.5. So what's this 9 all about? Average. It's saying if you drove some city and some highway, then on average you'd be using 9. But what do most of us live in the city, right? So you should probably saying I'm going to be using probably 10.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Okay. And you're like, I agree with you, Mr. Dirksen. Where are we going with this? Now we're going ahead. Okay. Did you know that your tires, if they're deflated, you use more gas? So you have to check your tire pressure. Trying to think what else. So if you go over 100 kilometers an hour, you actually start, your fuel economy is actually getting worse. 100 is like the ideal the fuel economy speed. Okay, you are probably not driving enough yet, but if there's ever a really strong windy day and I travel highway, I go fishing and hunting a lot. Okay, so I go lots of highway. You use a lot more too. You use a lot more fuel when you're going against the wind. You don't think of it, but just try biking against the wind. You know that it requires more effort, right? Your engine is going to work harder. Make sure you do constant oil changes. Sorry, not fuel change, oil changes, and make sure that you maintain it properly. Okay. Um, I will just say that the city fuel economy is different than the highway fuel economy. So I will ask you some, tell me why city or highway, why would there be a difference? You can talk about speed, you can talk about the fact that you stop and go, right? Highway fuel economy is generally smaller than the same vehicle's city fuel economy. Okay, let's keep going. The the more optional equipment you add to your car, like if you add like a crazy roof rack, it's also gonna, your fuel economy is gonna go down. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. There's guaranteed gonna be a fuel economy question on the test. Okay, so don't even try to dodge the bullet. You're gonna have to know what you're doing. Let's go. A car is driven 280.2 kilometers, uses this many liters of gas, of fuel. Determine the fuel economy. So they're asking you to figure out the fuel economy. You're going to do that. The fuel economy is liters divided by the kilometers that you drove times 100. Okay, so fuel economy, look at the numbers there, 26.78, you just plug it in, plug in that other number, right, the kilometers. Let's put kilometers in liters so you know what's what. And the formula calls for multiplying it by 100. And now we're going to get our answer in liters per 100 kilometers. So grab your calculator. I want you to know how to type this in, because if you do everything right, but everybody's writing down the notes, right? Uh-huh. I shouldn't have to tell you this. So you divide, I would divide them and then multiply it by 100. So this is 9.56. You got it. Most cars, if you go through the settings, they show you this live. It shows you at the minute I start going on a highway, my fuel economy will slowly go down and down. Like I'll use less liters per 100 kilometers. Like it shows that on the dash, right? So older cars, not yet, right? So how would you do it with an older car? If you've got like a 2005, let's pick on Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, it doesn't matter. How would you check like what your fuel economy is? The odometer, okay. Because this is important. I thought everybody knows how to do it. So you basically write down on your phone, take a picture when you start. So let's say your odometer reading is this when you start, and then when you're ready to gas up again, right? So you fuel up here. And then when you're ready to gas up again, you write it down again. And so let's say it's this. So 300 kilometers, correct? You drove 300 kilometers and you gas up you look on the pump. Let's say you gas up 27 liters, right? When you're ready to gas up, you subtract to figure out how many kilometers you drove, fuel up your car all the way to full, and you're like, okay, this is how many liters I needed to drive this distance. And then use the fuel economy formula. So what would this be? Liters divided by kilometers times 100. That's 9 liters on the nose, right? 9 liters per 100 kilometers in this case. Toyota Corollas and them, they're like 8, 9. They're really good. So if you want to save on gas, those are good cars to buy. Okay. Okay. Next, let's keep going. I want to finish this before the bell goes. Okay. You've got 4 minutes. We can do it. How much fuel would you need to drive 1,500 kilometers? Very important. How much fuel would you need to drive that many kilometers? What are they asking me for? How many liters I need? Correct? Right. So watch this, folks. I'm going to use this answer, because I just figured out that I need this many liters per 100 kilometers. You know where I'm going with this, right? Equals, what do I know on the other side? Yes, 1,500 kilometers. And so if I find this x here, I will find how many liters I need to travel 1,500 kilometers. So then you go, you remember this? 1,500 times that, right? Did I show you this at the beginning of the year, this semester? This times that, right? You cross multiply. You start where the variable is. You cross multiply. In this case, you multiply up, and then you divide by the number that's left. So that's 143 what? 0.4 what? Liters. How much would that cost you? Because now that you know the liters, today, right now on the pump, would it be what? Times 1.85, right? Today? So you'd be paying $265 for this trip. But this is not the case, right? I gave you what? What is C asking for? What distance could you travel on a full tank with 70 liters? How would I start this? Is this always true in this case? In this case, it is. That's our fuel economy. It's written in stone. It won't change on you. I will highlight that in a bit. So if I have 70 liters, then this is my, let's call it Y. I want to forget about the X, right? You don't get it. My jokes are not very good. Anyway, so it's here, multiply and divide, right? So you multiply down, you divide up. I think I can AC you on this tomorrow because it's not too bad. Maybe I won't. I will give you time to practice. 9.56. So this times this divided by that. Let's really quickly, before you go, finish this. So that's 732.22 kilometers. Can I just highlight this? Once I have my fuel economy, I'm using it here and I'm using it here. The fuel economy helps you either way. If you know how many liters you have, you can figure out how many kilometers you can drive. If you know how many kilometers you can drive, you can figure out how many liters you will need. Okay, guys, you were great.